Lahore Grammar School, Quetta, lesson by Faiza Shah for grade 7. Component is language arts. And we are doing Unit 6, Comprehension number 6. The passage has been given the title Tearing Up the Telephone Book. Now, the background of the passage is that the passage has been taken from the book The Bionic Woman that was written by Maud Willis. The Bionic Woman is an American science fiction action adventure television series that was created by Kenneth Johnson. It was actually written by Maud Willis, so the television series were inspired by the book that was written by Maud Willis. The Bionic Woman series features Jamie Summers, who takes on special high-risk government mission using her superhuman bionic powers. The Bionic Woman series is a spin-off from the 1970s $6 Million Man television science fiction action series. The main character stars as professional tennis player Jamie Summers, who becomes critically injured during a skydiving accident. Jamie's life is saved by Oscar Goldman and Dr. Rudy Wells with bionic surgical implants similar to those of the $6 Million Man Steve Austin. Now, it is a very interesting passage that is taken from the book The Bionic Woman. Bionic Woman is a story of an ordinary woman. Her name is Jamie Summers. She was a very famous tennis player, and one day she gets critically injured in a skydiving accident. Her friend Oscar didn't want her to die, so he suggested Dr. Rudy Wells to perform a bionic surgical operation on her so that she can have the implants of bionic powers, right? So Jamie is fitted with an amplified bionic ear. So it means that her ear was affected and then she was given an ear which allows her to hear at low volumes and various frequencies and over uncommonly long distances. She also has extraordinary strength in her bionic right arm and in both legs that enables her to jump great distances and run at speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour. She is then assigned to secret missions as an occasional agent of the Office of Scientific Intelligence while teaching middle and high school students in her regular life. So after the accident, she becomes a normal school teacher for middle and high school students, but actually she is a secret agent for the government who's performing huge operations for the American government in the book. Now, boys and girls, as you can see in your book, please make sure that you read the passage yourself as well, because I'm just going to give you the summary of the passage. The bell rang just as Jamie took her seat. Now, you know who Jamie is. Jamie Summers is the teacher. She took her seat. The class waited for her to speak, but there was still a strong undercurrent of giggling and poking going on. Now, this reminds me of my class, definitely. Like when we used to start the class, we tell each other to settle down first. Come on, guys. Come on, boys. Need to settle down. But the giggling will go on, and I miss that. So, however, it's the first day of the teacher and she is nervous. Now, Jamie is nervous. For I know my class remembers me as a very, very nervous teacher. When I first came to your class, I was quite nervous because having beautiful boys in front of me who were quite naughty, it was a little difficult for me to start my class. I was looking around and, quite nervous how to tell you to sit down. For me, I really thought that when I'll walk in, you might just sit down and, start working. But, well, that's not how it works. So the teacher is nervous. It's her first day. And as soon as she says good morning to the children, they say good morning. And then she says, I am Miss Summers. However, one of the boys at the back row says, "We know it." So the teacher didn't want it to, she didn't want them to feel threatened by the teacher. So she says, "Well, that's very good," in a smiling way, or she was smiling when she said that. Now she is trying to be very nice, but the class is giving her the class is quite disrespectful, and they're giving her a hard time. There is a girl at the back who is chewing gum in the class as well, and she slouched back in her chair, and she asks her a question. She says, "You had to quit tennis, huh?" So, um, the only way Jamie knew how to deal with people was directly and honestly. That is kind of a long story, she said, and I'll tell you sometime when we are going to know each other better. Now, I don't know what routine you have been used to, but I have put my plans for the classroom organization up on the board here. Now, as soon as she says that I have been doing this, I have just finished writing the whole plan for you guys. How is she going to organize the class and all? As soon as she turns back, there was nothing on the board, which made the whole class, broke into a laughter. Then she looked at the board and then back at the class and said, "Well, I thought I had put the plans up on the board." Um, while the boys and girls were still laughing at a very unusual speed, at a very impossible speed, the teacher writes the whole thing again, which made the whole class very quiet. They were amazed and surprised at how the teacher can do that. But Jamie didn't make them feel uncomfortable, or didn't make them feel that this is something unusual. She remained quite normal, and she asked the children, "Now then, I'd like you each to copy off the section that applies to you. That is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So whatever is your grade, please copy your planner." Now, what happened next is quite no, it's quite interesting as well, because now the boys and girls, although they know that something unusual happened, they were still bored and they were still laughing, and some of them were still talking, some of them were still whispering, and she was trying to be as easy and natural with them as possible, but the boys and the girls were quiet, disrespectful. Now, boys and girls, it's a whole lot big passage that tells about how the boys and girls were disrespectful towards the teacher, and how calm she remained until one of the boys started whispering in another boy's ear, and said something bad about the teacher, which made the teacher ask, "Who said that?" Now, the boy was really amazed, because he just whispered it. But as we have discussed before, Jamie has a bionic ear, so she can hear people whispering, or she can, on different frequencies, she can hear people talking or hear any kind of sound. So she said, she asked one of the boys "Can you please give me that telephone book?" And that is what she asked for. The telephone book was quite thick, but she starts tearing it with one hand, with both hands, and that made boys and girls really, really amazed once again. But as she was tearing the telephone book, she was very comfortable. She was talking in a very normal voice, as if she was unaware of what her hands were up to. The children began to tune in carefully to what she was saying. I feel that respect for a teacher should grow naturally out of friendship and trust. I certainly expect you to understand and to develop that sort of respect for me. She really wanted the children to respect her, and not out of threat, not out of fear, but out of respect, out of love. Anyways, she tells the boys and girls were the children or the students were now uh, they they thought that the teacher means something, and that she's taking this class, so we have to be very quiet. And they actually were silent as they turned to face front and sat quietly, because the teacher got very good hearing. They didn't want it to mess up with the teacher who can tear the telephone book with one hand. Now, how well did you understand it? It depends on how well you're going to read it again. I have just given you the background of the passage. Story about Jamie Somers, a bionic woman. There are about 14 questions that needs to be answered. You can choose any 10 and please write the answers. There are dictionary words also given. So give the meaning of each of the following words. You may like to use the back of the book dictionary to help you. Cynical, sarcastic, hostile, mischievous, guffaw, culprit, and apathy. Please, boys and girls, uh, make sure you read the whole passage again, and you can look up for the book as well. It is a wonderful book about this woman who is a bionic woman, and if you go for the series, you will find amazing adventures, amazing operations that this woman performs, other than taking care of her students in the school, right? So you stay home, stay safe. Please send me your assignments, and I'll be waiting for it.